Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Paul Macedo, Communications Director with CanDo. Welcome to today's session on government procurement opportunities. And the session will be delivered by Daniel Sandoz with Procurement Assistance Canada, Pacific Region. Daniel is based in Victoria. Daniel, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. And
Very
my
good.
colleague
Daniel,
Tim
take
has
it away.
joined us as well. Yeah, thank you, Paul.
Yes,
my
that's
colleague
right.
Tim has joined me as well. And like me, he is also located on Vancouver Island in British Columbia. He is located in Ladysmith. So you have two islanders today. And I recognize some names in the audience, like Trisha. Let's see. Tricky part is always the screen share to make that work. Let's share. So we do some myth busting about the government procurement. We'll look into different segments of the government procurement. So often we hear, oh, you never buy what we sell. You never buy from smaller companies or smaller nations. You only buy from the large companies and corporations. So we'll do some myth busting around that today. Now, again, I have to quickly unshare and then reshare my screen to get to get my screen moving, otherwise. To do this. This. So how much do we buy? We always think about the government being this abstract large buyer. Yes, we are one of the large buyers in Canada. So between the last few years, per year we have bought around $23 billion of goods and services, and around 500. We have awarded each year around 500,000 contracts and close to $2 million of credit card transaction. So credit card transaction is below $10,000, including taxes. So that's a lot of transactions. That's a lot of market. That's a lot of possibilities to do business with the government of Canada. And we always hear, but the government doesn't do business with smaller companies or smaller nations and small business in general. Well, yes, we do. Like 90% of the contracts generally go to small and medium-sized enterprises. These are contracts that are valued under $25,000. So most of them, you won't see them on buy and sell, but you will see them also. You can see who got those contracts on a segment called proactive disclosure with the Treasury Board. But then there's also transactions under $10,000, like the credit card transaction, which you will see people in each department having a government credit card to do purchases on behalf of their teams. Like I'm one of them. I have a government credit card. I do purchases on behalf of my team if we attend conferences, if we need to buy material for us to do our outreach. It goes partly to me or one of my colleagues in my team. And then we always also hear, like, I'm too small, you're not buying from me. So we buy from solopreneurs. Like we have people come in as consultants and do look on how we do business, and we ask them, for example, how can we adopt the agile way of doing of working? So we then do contract for small business who helps us be more efficient, helps us change our way of doing business. So there's lots of ways we engage with smaller enterprise. Also, if we need to have, in pre-COVID times, needed to have brochures printed, we went out and looked at small printer companies, not the large one. We went to small printers in our regions and got quotes from them, and then awarded contracts that way. These are also smaller contracts which are under $10,000. We also do business with established businesses in our communities, businesses that are growing, medium-sized businesses which are called that way, which have up to 499 employees. So there's a whole variety of companies we do businesses, like we do business really with everyone who wants to do business with us. And also we hear a lot, oh, you're not buying what I have. You're not buying from some parts of society. Yes, we do. We buy from green tech, clean tech. We buy from women-owned businesses, women-led businesses, Indigenous businesses, new Canadian businesses, social enterprises, and also from large companies. We try to be very inclusive and have everyone participate in the federal procurement process. What you don't buy what we have. Yes, we buy technology, military, property, and other large services, which are the obvious things you would associate with a government buying. But we also buy catering services. Think about natural catastrophe, going like we had the floods in British Columbia, the people helping like the RCMP when they were out there and looking at stuff, or the military came to help the communities. They needed to eat as well, so we needed catering services for those. Also snow removal, that's one example is the observatory in Penticton in the Okanagan. They always contract out snow removal for the installation every single year. Also dogs and dog grooming services, clothing, shower curtains. Think about like prisons, they will need shower curtains, or look at military installations, cadets, wherever they are, their showers, they need, and clothing, like think about uniforms, or others where they need, when they have to do a lot of work outside, they need overalls and thick sweaters when they do work outside in the winter. But it's all stuff we buy which are not always associated with a government procurement. We always also hear government procurement is difficult and time consuming. Yes, it's a little bit more time, it's more time consuming than if you do business with another private entity. But we need to be transparent about our operations so that you have confidence that we do the best, that we follow our processes. We are open and fair to everyone who is participating in a specific procurement process. We have initiatives going on to make it easier, to make it more accessible, like e-procurement. It's still a long road to get there, but we have some pilots going on. Also a way to electronically submit bids versus in the old days where you had to mail in your bids. Also, we shortened the payment period from 30 days to 15 days. We use simpler language. We still have some progress to do on that, but we use simpler language than in the past. We're constantly looking at ways on how we can reduce barriers for a small business to participate in the federal procurement process. Government procurement is centralized. Some of it is centralized, but we're also very decentralized. Like you have procurement officers for our department in Victoria, in Vancouver, who are in charge for what we call the Pacific region, which is British Columbia and the Yukon. We have colleagues in Edmonton and in Saskatchewan who are looking after the prairie provinces. We have colleagues in Quebec who are looking after Quebec. We have the same for Atlantic region. We have colleagues in Ontario who are looking after Ontario. So it's very decentralized, and we help do procurement for other departments as well. And each department does their own procurements as well. And they're spread out all over Canada. Some of it will be the large contract, which you will see on a website called buysell.gc.ca. But a lot of them are also those credit card transactions, like we saw earlier in the presentation, that we do 2 million credit card transactions. And these are contracts which are and payments which are under $10,000. Like this competitive procurement for everything above $25,000 for goods and $40,000 for services. And those were quotes and bids that are put often on buy and sell with a variety of methods. Like there will be, we'll get to it later on. But there is also what I was talking about, the low dollar procurement, what the government calls the low dollar procurement, which is like credit card transactions, other transactions which are below the $25,000 threshold, which we have seen. Like those ones, we can use a non-competitive approach, which means we don't have to post it on our website. We can go out and in our communities and get quotes from businesses local to us, which we know through our networks because we have done previous businesses with them, or we have been approached by businesses, or we have done our research. We went online to look or scan the internet to find companies which have a certain good or service in our community. Buy and sell. That's our go-to website. That's where you will find all the tenders over $25,000 for goods and $40,000 for services. You don't need to register to access information. You can look at the whole website. You don't need to register. The time to register is to become visible to the government, to the buyers, but also when you think, okay, the government is a client which is ideal to me, I want to sell to them. For that, that's when you start registering in the system. But here you can really you can look at your competitors, you can do a contract history search, so you can see who won contracts for a certain good or service. So you can size up your own competition in there. You can see who sold to the government whatever you're selling. If it's a good or a service, you can see who sold in the past to the government. You can see open tenders. You can see what the government is looking for right now. And you can see it has different tabs, so you can see all the open ones, or what's new. So you will see what has been posted in the last 24 hours. Then there's a tab which says amended today. So you will see where there has been a change to an existing tender that was set out. You can divide it for active ones, or you can go to divide them. You only want to see the goods side or the service side, or you want to see the goods or service side as it relates to construction. You want to see contract awards, or you want to know, what's closing in the next 24 hours. So that's where you need to act fast on those. Yes, I mentioned that we will also have electronic procurement as a way of modernizing government, government procurement. The new platform is called Canada Buys. and will gradually replace. Right now, it's still posted on both. If Canada Buys right now is still as a pilot, we're slowly moving to, but you can already register to be ready in that system. And the Canada Buys is SAP Ariba based, so it's a different system than what you will see when you use a Buy and Sell, which is the current government procurement platform. So this is about our team, what we do. Like, we have been known for the last 10 years as the Office of Small and Medium Enterprise, and have been rebranded this past summer as Procurement Assistance Canada, which is more closer to what we actually do. So we support small and medium-sized enterprises who want to do business with the government in assisting them through getting to know how the government procures stuff. How does that process function? What are the different methods of doing business with the government, like between what the government calls the low-dollar transactions, which is a different process than if you go over what has been posted, those tender processes. We also look on how, by listening to small and medium-sized businesses, on how we can help government modernize its processes, still keeping up with fairness and transparency. How can we make those processes easier, simpler? How can we reduce barriers? We give seminars on how to find opportunities. We do how to register your business, how to do business with us, how does the government procure, how are those processes functioning. We do one-on-one meetings, which are really tailored to you, to your enterprise or to your community. Then this info line, when you're on the website or you're doing something with a tender and you get stuck, you can call those people. And we also have reach, like I mentioned earlier, like we are not centralized, we are decentralized. We have a head office, which is in the National Capital Region, so in Ottawa. But we also have an office in Toronto, which is looking after everyone in Ontario. Then we have an office in Montreal, which looks after everyone in Quebec. Then we have an office in Halifax, and in Moncton, there's someone there as well. And those ones are looking after all the Atlantic region. We have colleagues who are in Edmonton and in the satellite office in Saskatchewan, who are looking after the Prairie provinces, and us in Vancouver and Victoria, who are looking after BC and the Yukon. So that's for one part of our presentation today. Does anyone have any questions on government procurement?
If you have questions, you can use the chat function, or you can just activate your microphone and ask Daniel or Tim. Doesn't look like anyone has questions, Daniel. So let's go to.
And I will move to the next one. So I will quickly unshare so I can open my other presentation and then go back to share. Now, hope it has. I just have to find the right one. Yeah, this one. Except that thing to have needs this one to disappear so I can start presentation. Come on. Just my top row doesn't want to disappear, so can I start the presentation from down here? Slideshow, please resume slideshow. No, that's the one. That's the previous one. I want to have this one start. My apologies. That's the wrong one. This one. It's going right away. My issue is right now I cannot access the
We can see yours. We can see the PowerPoint, Daniel.
You can see the PowerPoint? Good.
Yep.
Because I wanted to switch to, I cannot get to my tab, which lets me.
Someone is
can't go over to
suggesting to push
slideshow?
F5.
Okay.
Someone's suggesting that, so I'm not sure if that'll work.
Now, thank you.
There you go.
So with
Thanks, Cherish.
Thank you. With Can-Do last year, we have started Mentorship 1.0. We have worked together with Can-Do to develop a mentorship on procurement, on government procurement, and have successfully launched last year. We had the first teams being part of it, and we had one participant who actually won a large government contract afterwards, and he said it's in part of the things he learned during the mentorship, so which gave us really the drive to continue and to ask them on what we can change to make it even more helpful to participants. So we have listened to what we have run and we'll incorporate the learnings we got from the first mentorship to the mentorship 2.0. So again, that's about us. So since we have done the first part of the presentation, it's our team, Procurement Assistance Canada, who is in daily contact with small and medium-sized businesses who will be running this mentorship program with Can-Do. So you will see Tim and myself. And I said, during the whole program, we will connect you to the respective regional office so that you get to know also our colleagues who are on the ground close to where you are, more closer to where you are. We will be looking in very detailed fashion. We will take buy and sell apart. We will go and look at all the different elements of buy and sell. We will look, oh, how do I register? Can I register or help businesses in my community to register? So we will look at the detail on how that registration mechanism functions. We will look on how to read buy and sell. What can I find on buy and sell? When I look at a tender, what are the key points to look at? Where should I focus on when I first look at a tender? And we will look at buy and sell. What information can I find on buy and sell? There's so much information you can find on buy and sell. We look on how do we read contract history. Yes, you can download contract history. So we will look at how to do that. How do I get that whole data set? And then once I have it, what do I do with that data set? So we'll do it hands-on. It's not that you will have to listen to me or Tim for an hour. We will do it together. Like one part is like what you see here. It's how do I register a business in my community? How can I help an entrepreneur in my community to register? So we'll go through that whole process together, so that when you get approached by a business in your nation or you're a business yourself, you know how to do it and what information you need to provide during the registration phase. We will look into the procurement strategy for Indigenous business, which used to be called Procurement Strategy for Aboriginal Businesses. There has been some changes, so we will look at what has changed, for whom has it changed, where has it changed. We will look at the Indigenous Business Directory. So to participate in the procurement strategy for Indigenous business, as an example, you need to be registered first as a business in the Indigenous Business Directory. So we'll be looking at how do I register, what do I need to do. So we'll look at all that together. We will play it, the whole process together. So for for low dollar procurements, or also how do I connect with officials? So we'll look at strategies. We will look at different websites. How can I get in contact with departments and agencies? We will look at the government electronic directory, learn that, how to read that, how can I find out when I look at the directory, what do I need to do? How can I find out who could be interested in what I have to sell? Or who could be interesting to talk to, who could help me then promote my business and sell? That's one of I was mentioning was the GEDS, that's the government directory. It's more difficult if you try to sell to the Department of National Defense, RCMP, or the Coast Guard, or CSIS, the Security Intelligence Service, because those ones are don't publish as much information as other departments do. Like I mentioned earlier, we will also connect you with different PSPC offices. PSPC is the largest buyers, so that's Procurement, Public Services and Procurement Canada, which is the largest buyer on behalf of other government departments. So large contracts often go over my home department. Smaller contracts go over the departments themselves, regional offices, teams on a team level, like credit card transactions. What's important is, we'll look at strategy, that you know your business, that you know the clients, so that we can connect who could be the appropriate point of contact inside and outside the government. We look at different ways of doing business with the government. Sometimes you will find, okay, if you look at a tender, I have 80% of what the government needs, but I know who could be a partner for this tender. And then you have to decide, you have to make a business decision, who of us two partners is the prime, what the government calls a prime contractor, and who is a subcontractor. Only one of you two can be the prime contractor. So that's a business decision you will need to do. It's all different things we will look at during the mentorship program. Then again, it goes back to the tender website, where we will have an in-depth look and do exercises on how to read the buy and sell. We will also look at the low dollar procurement transactions. How do we go after those? How do I get to know by potential government clients? We're looking at different sub-databases and different ways the government is sorting, like pro services, or select if you're in construction, or if you're providing linguistic services, or temp help services, or specific IT services. or consulting service like ProService. We will look at all the different ways the government buys and all the different database, sub-databases which the government has, which you can register in it as well. Some of them are more involving than others. Don't think that it's something you can do at the end of the day, that it takes 5 minutes to register. In those ones, it takes longer. So we'll think about it on when would be a good time in a day to do it. So the mentorship will run from the end of January till May 2022 on a monthly basis. We will have it cohort based. This will be 60 minutes sessions. It's a combination of the cohort session, but you will also have the possibility to have, I can't even speak. You can also have individual mentorship session. You don't have to, but I highly recommend. And during those individual sessions, it's all about you. So you're in the driver's seat. So you can tell what you want to know. We can then really tailor it down to you, to your community or your business, if you're a business. And we want to make it interactive. So we want to have it, we'll have a lot of activities during the whole mentorship. So you will not sit there and just consume. We will integrate you in the whole process during the whole mentorship. We will do exercises during the whole thing, and everything will complete at the AGM at the Can-Do Annual Conference in May 22nd. So the first session will be January 27th, then the next one February 10th, March 3rd, March 24th, April 14th, and if you still want or need, we have April 21st put aside as well, and then everything will conclude at the Can-Do Annual Conference. So if you have questions or you want to join, please let Paul and myself know that you want to join. Tell us a bit about you, about your community you're part of. Tell us if you have tried to do business with the government, what gave you headaches. Just let us know a bit more about you as well. And Tim, who is here today as well, and I will be, and Paul, of course. We will be part of the mentorship program until May. So you will see us all three during all sessions. You will see Tim or myself for the individuals coaching sessions.
Thank you, Daniel. In the chat function, I've posted the link to the Procurement Mentorship webpage on the Can-Do website. On that webpage, we'll have what Daniel just explained as the schedule and the outline of what will be covered in the mentorship. The mentorship is free. It's geared towards EDOs, or if you're not an EDO, someone that's working much like an EDO for the community. We're looking at economic development opportunities, business diversification, and so on. And it's also geared towards entrepreneurs and business owners. We strongly encourage that you be a Can-Do member to participate. There is no fee, but we would like to provide that opportunity to Can-Do members first. And if you, again, like what Daniel said, it's on the screen now. There's contact via email for Daniel or for myself. There's also Breezy Locke at the Can-Do office that can assist as well. But all the information is there. The deadline to apply is January 21st, so that's coming up pretty quick. Daniel, we've got about a dozen registered so far. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, so we've got a dozen. I'm not sure how much higher we can go, but we'll try to accommodate everyone. But please register by January 21st, and then be prepared for the first session that will start on the 27th of January. So I think that's mostly it. Again, go to the website. There's more details there. But Daniel has given you a really strong outline of what's involved and what'll be gained by it. Oh, wait a minute. Up to how many people? Yeah. Helen just asked how many people. We'll try to accommodate everyone. We've got 12 now. I think we've got enough to go up to 20 or so. But we'll try to accommodate all those that are interested. So if there's any questions, please type it into the chat function, like a few of you have already done so, or turn on your microphone and ask directly. We have a few minutes left in our session. If there aren't any more questions, then we'll turn that time over to you, and you'll have some extra free time today.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I was trying to type in the chat thing there that I wanted to join the mentorship program, but it's not sending the message.
So I think the best thing to do, Eric, is to email myself or Daniel and express your interest and give us some information about what your role is, the community you serve, the population of that community, and so on. And then we'll get you added to our list.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, take care. Anyone else? Okay, well, I thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day to share it with us. We know that time is precious, so we appreciate that. Daniel, thank you so much for sharing your information and your knowledge with us, and I look forward to reconnecting with you for the mentorship program coming up. And hopefully a number of the today's participants will be part of that process. Tim, thank you as well. Everyone have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Great. Thanks, Paul. Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
Paul. Thank you.
Talk soon.